Hey guys, welcome to the second edition of Career Cruising. My name is Faizan Sadat and I will be your host. So today I'm going to be talking about a very important concept that I have embedded in my life, and that is my 5-year plan. And whatever I say about this 5-year plan, I'm probably going to write a book or a blog about it, but this is a quick just video of what I really want to do. Everyone has goals, but not everyone documents them. So today I want to talk about why it's so important to have different type of goals in different amount of time limits. So first and foremost, you should have your day-to-day goal. In corporate environment, we call that operations, your day-to-day activities. These goals should be able to you should be able to track them in your 24 hours a day. So that's the first jargon I just threw at you. It's operational goals. Your second goal should be your tactical goal. Not the goal itself, but the time frame. So I'm talking about 3 months from now on, 6 months from now on, 9 months from now on, and then obviously a year, which is your strategy. Your strategy is, hey, I see myself here. What do I need to do to put myself in a position to be successful in an annual year basis? I highly recommend that my clients document these goals. It's very important for you to document your goals for 2 reasons. First and foremost, when you document those goals, you're holding yourself accountable to those goals. And second thing, they're an everlasting reminder that you need to fulfill them. Because, let's face it guys, we don't have a perfect lifestyle. Some days are just gonna suck. So what we have to do is, okay, I had a bad day, but how do I bounce back to make sure that I achieve my goals? I've talked about the time frame of the goals. Day-to-day, 3 or 6 month plan, and a year. But I have not talked about different type of goals. So the first goal I want to emphasize is your personal goal. That could be anything from picking up a guitar or picking up a song, listening to learning a song, or losing weight or gaining weight or getting functional or getting conditioned. These are kind of easy to do because there's a lot of resources on the internet, obviously, and on the wide web to give you that. And they're kind of easy to do. They don't require as much of effort. For example, if you're trying to pick up a new language, you can just go on audible.com or just put on your headphones while you're driving to work and kind of achieve that. But it's still important for you to do that. Now, before achieving any sort of a goal, you really need to be prepping. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're trying to gain weight or lose weight, or if you're trying to be healthy, you need to make sure that you are prepping your meals on time. You're making sure that you're hitting X amount of calories. So people don't understand that it's a process, that this takes time, and more honestly, so it's a prepping of an agenda. So that's your personal goal. The second goal is your economical goal. I don't think a lot of young people really realize that. And this video series is aimed at young demographics, mainly 18 to 24, who are not really into finance or economics. As an MBA, I can tell you that we have been living in interest rates that have been far the lowest rates we have ever witnessed. So this is the time to really think and strategize on, hey, do I really want to pick up a house? Should I invest in our 401k plan? Do I want to be in a franchise? What are the business opportunities I'm looking at? And these are things you should be looking for. Honestly, so you should be trying to have your own business. That's something everyone should strive for, even if you have a corporate job. Having your own business is probably one of the best things you can do in your life. From an initial get-go, it's a lot of hard work and even high capital, but the results are you're not really relying on anyone to have your paycheck. So if you want a good quality of life, look at those economic times. Interest rates are low. Try to pick up a house. I highly recommend all my clients do that. But that's a different video series, but that's part of your economical goal. Now the third goal that I really want to talk about, which is the focal point and the gating criteria of all these video series, is your career goal, right? Your career or your livelihood basically dictates everything. If you don't have money, you can't buy your fancy car. You can't buy the mansion you want to live in. You can't afford the clothes you want or have the standard quality of life that you like or you desire. So that's why the career goal is so important. I really want all my clients to get a 4-year degree. I know there are a lot of dissenting opinions on that, but honestly, I don't care who you are. You need to get a 4-year degree. A lot of people tell me, well, Faizan, I don't like school. I understand that. I love academia, so I'm in a different boat. But I know there are 2 types of people. I know people that love academia, and I know people that are into business and entrepreneurship and don't like school. That's okay. Everyone is made different. Everyone has different skill set to offer to their people. But that does not diminish the fact that an education is important. Even if you're an entrepreneur, you should have a backup degree. in case something happens, in case your business doesn't happen, which kind of underlies on my fourth type of goal, but please get a degree. I mean, honestly, it's for your own benefit. Every major organization requires to have a 4-year degree. There are no ifs and buts about it. Education is extremely important. But more fully than education is your experience. How do you get better at the jobs you do? If you're an accountant, how are you harnessing your experience? What type of accounts are you looking at? What type of financial statements are you looking at? What type of stakeholders are you involved in? If you're in the healthcare environment, what type of legislation are you working for? Are you looking at the HIPAA law? There's private information. See, all these things, they come with collaboration, they come with networking, they come with learning. You have 8 hours at work at that, every day. And most people are just browsing on social media or doing something. If you're on social media for productivity, that's awesome, but most people are not. So be really cognizant of your time, because your experience really defines your ability to get a pay raise. So the third thing I want to talk about in our career series is how to ask for a pay raise. That's going to be a different video series, but just a little quick hint bit of that. You should aim for 10 to 15,000 every 2 years. Now that goal is pretty minimum. If you switch jobs or you job hop, that could be even further than what you envisioned. But for the sake of sanity or for the sake of median, usually companies will give you 3 to 5%, depending on the numbers, depending on your job performance. And we will talk about that more further in other video series. Your career, your certificate, your job, educational requirements, and then your experience. The fourth thing I want to talk about are certifications. Certifications are super important. They tell. When HR companies come to you, they have 2 ways of really identifying if you're good at your job. One is your experience. But think about it. You can really make up your experience, right? You could say, I've done X, Y, and Z, and give a reference. But how do they really know you know that? Certification is one way that human resource agencies really do a check on, hey, does this guy know this? And they let a third party or a third entity take care of that. So it kind of takes their burden off that. So that's also a very important aspect to be in mind. And the last thing is contingency planning. Guys, how many times you have tried something in life and never worked out? It happens to the best of us. Life is not a linear structure. If success was such a perfection, then we would have Zuckerberg wouldn't have a failed business. Gary Vee wouldn't have a failed business. But these entrepreneurs that have struggled and they have achieved a level of success after many, many attempts of trying to do something that they envisioned. Contingency plan is important. For example, God forbid, if you're in medical school and you did not get into medical school and you're 35 or 36 and you're like, you know what, I really need to move on with my life. But I don't have any setback plan because I did not think about that 25. And let's be fair, which young person really looks at it? Not many do. So that's the fourth thing I tell my clients, that have a backup plan. You're going to an institution, you're going to a company, you're starting a business. But if you don't have any backup, if you don't have any contingency, you might lose your house. You might lose a very important asset. You might have a horrible credit line. How do you protect yourself to layer? We call that layering. We call that different income streams, okay? And young people have the best benefit because they're ahead of the technological curve. The millennials, even though they have a hard time trying to seek a job with so much automation, the millennials that are us have a better rate of getting a job than our Gen X or Gen Y because of the fact they grew up with technology, because of the fact that social media has made so many things. And there's so many avenues one could possibly penetrate to get a better understanding of that. So these are our 4 types of goals. If you have any questions about them, how to do a plan goal, I would highly recommend you just put it on a document. And the last thing, the ultimate last thing you should do is after you document your goals, make 3 columns. Strengths, weaknesses, and things I need to work on. And this will give you a really humble check of what you're good at and what you want to achieve in life. Thanks again for watching, and you guys have a great one.